Thank you. The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Luna.
The Centers for Medicare and Medical Services has proposed a new rule that would reinterpret the term lawfully present to expand taxpayer-funded federal health benefits.
What's up, my fellow Americans? Welcome back to the channel, where we believe that patriotism means standing up for truth, justice, and compassion, not hatred, fear, or division. Today, we're diving into an absolute masterclass in how to deal with right-wing nonsense. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett just obliterated Republican Anna Paulina Luna on live TV. And honestly, it was glorious. Let's watch the video.
Specifically Medicaid, Affordable Care Act health care coverages, and the Children's Health Insurance Program to DACA recipients. Expanding benefits in this way would not deter illegal immigration. In fact, it encourages more individuals to take the dangerous trek across our borders illegally. And to put the cost of illegal immigration into perspective, illegal immigration has a net cost of approximately $151 billion per year. This cost is not incurred by illegal aliens that are coming to the United States, but instead paid for by hardworking Americans, while those breaking the law have zero financial accountability. This is not the only costs the American taxpayer have taken on. In fact, the U.S. government spends more than $23 billion annually on federal medical expenditures, in which services are used by illegal aliens. To participate, one service costs taxpayers over $5 billion in medical assistance for those born of illegal aliens. Even more concerning are the incentives that those exploiting birth tourism and international commercial surrogacies receive, which will only worsen our immigration crisis that we're facing in our country and defraud the American people. Dr. Montz, are you aware of what birth tourism is?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Are you aware of what birth tourism is?
No.
Okay, so birth tourism is when a pregnant woman will come to the United States, basically about to give birth, have their child here. They might not be a citizen and then ultimately end up leaving the country. Meanwhile, the child will receive citizenship status. But it's a huge problem in this country, mainly because what we're finding is other countries that are more nefarious, like Russia and China, are exploiting the system. Are you aware that some nations that are participating in these illegal activities in exploiting birth tourism and international commercial surrogacy practices are from Russia and China?
Not aware of that.
Are you aware that these two countries have long histories of anti-American espionage activities?
I wouldn't have any knowledge about.
You don't know that Russia doesn't like us? That's the question.
I know that Russia is currently at war with Ukraine.
So you don't like Russia, correct?
Don't have any particular opinions that pertain to this hearing.
Okay. Are you aware that China does not like the United States and that has engaged in espionage activities against the United States?
I don't have any personal professional knowledge of that.
Okay. Well, I suggest you read Breitbart. Do you believe that allowing these practices puts the national security of the United States at risk?
I don't believe so.
You don't believe that allowing a country that engages in espionage against the United States, exploiting birth tourism, could potentially open us up for risk?
I don't have the professional knowledge to opine on that issue.
Do you believe that individuals from these countries and illegal aliens in general should be allowed to exploit the medical system that you help oversee?
I'm here to talk about the HHS's proposed rule to extend benefits to DACA recipients to ensure that their treatment is in line with other deferred action recipients.
So you can't answer the question. Do you have an opinion on any of that?
I'm here to talk about the proposed rule that CMS has put forward. I'm happy to take your questions.
Okay. What would be your solution then for that proposed rule?
Under the proposed rule, this pertains to DACA recipients. As you know, DACA recipients are individuals, a defined population of individuals that came to the United States as children and have been lawfully residing here since 2007.
When Obama created the program in the Rose Garden?
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. Can you just briefly tell me about how Nancy Pelosi treated DACA recipients when given the option to make them legal?
What I can talk about is the proposed rule. What we have proposed to do is further align our definition, HHS's definition of lawfully present, with that of the Department of Homeland Security's longstanding definition.
And what is that definition?
That definition includes all individuals who are subject to deferred action.
Okay. In my opinion, ma'am, you're obviously in charge of a very important program, but this program was created with the intent of making it political. And let's be clear, whenever they show pictures of DACA recipients, they typically tend to show Hispanic children, when in actuality it's more than just the Hispanic demographic. So I guess the question for you would be, you're in charge of a program that's costing American taxpayers millions and billions of dollars, and yet you're sitting here refusing to answer questions about whether or not that's fair or there's certain terminology being used for these programs. I guess my suggestion to you would be is that our rules that we have in place are in place for a reason. And ultimately what ends up happening is when you have these programs that are exploited, it does harm people long term. Chairman, I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Crockett.
It never ceases to amaze me what will come out of some of my colleagues' mouths. So it was suggested that you should read Breitbart, and I couldn't let it go. And so just for the general public, because I don't want anybody to believe that that's a good idea, I just got on Google, which if you have a cell phone, we can all do that. Breitbart News Network is an American far-right syndicated news, opinion, and commentary website founded mid-2007 by American conservative commentator Andrew Breitbart. Breitbart News content has been described as misogynistic, xenophobic, and racist by academics and journalists. So I don't know that that's where I want anybody to take their cues from, especially when they're trying to run this country. That part. And then let me clear up another little part real quick. DACA is political, is what I heard just now. Just to be clear, you've testified that DACA recipients are considered to be lawfully present, correct?
That's correct. I've said that under the Department of Homeland Security's longstanding definition, DACA recipients are considered lawfully present.
Right, they're not considered illegals, they're considered to be lawfully present. But lawfully present doesn't mean that you have the right to vote, correct?
I would defer to my
Well, I'll give it to you. Only U.S. citizens can vote. And so therefore, this idea that it's political or as if the Biden administration is about to rack up some votes is just another falsehood. In fact, all we continue to get is half-baked ideas and half-baked or half-lies or half-truths, whichever way you want to look at it. Let's talk about the half-baked ideas first, though. My colleague, Ms. Lee, brought up the fact that we're talking about expanding access to pregnant women and children, correct?
In the Medicaid program, yes.
Okay, and this is only in states that have extended Medicaid, correct?
This is under the proposal, this would impact the 35, roughly 35 states who have chosen the option to cover lawfully residing pregnant individuals as well as children.
Okay, so we're talking about pregnant women, and have you heard of the Dobbs decision?
I have.
Okay, all right, so we have a party that says, seemingly, what would Jesus do? Seemingly, that's how they govern themselves. And so they've decided that all women should just bear all the children and not have any rights to decide what they're going to do. And so even under this set of circumstances, they think that it's great that all women should just be pregnant, but they don't want them to have any access to health care. That sounds like a half-baked idea to me, to say that forget life when it comes to, say, the life of the mother, because that's a real thing. Because if you have health care, and I don't know how deeply you've delved into this, but we have been talking, and when I say we, I mean the Democrats, have been talking about the fact that we have a terrible maternal mortality rate in this country. And when you start talking about people of color or people of lower socioeconomic means, that rate goes up even more astronomically. And so the idea that people are already dying, let me be clear. Are there people that tend to be at a higher risk when they don't have access to health care when they're pregnant?
Yes, it is our belief that being insured leads to better health outcomes.
Thank you. Let's also just talk about these half-truths. Really, they're just full lies. I was trying to be nice. The reality is that they're trying to make this into the immigration boogeyman that they always talk about, yet we've yet to have a bill on the floor that has been proposed in the form of a policy around immigration. Instead, what they want to do is continue to treat immigrants as if they are the big, bad boogeyman. And so we're sitting here and we're talking about a program, and you've remained composed. So let me compliment you for that. Because my colleagues on the other side of the aisle continue to ask you about the border. What in this bill or this policy, this rule change, what in this rule change has anything to do with the border? Just give me one thing that it has to do with the border. One. Okay, exactly. It doesn't, right? It doesn't. But for some reason, they believe if they say it, that it's true. I would love to live in a world where whatever I say somehow is true. But the reality is that if they want immigration reform, they are in control of the House and they can put a bill on the floor. But they don't want to do that because they want to continue to say that immigrants are the big bad boogeyman. Thank you for your service. This has nothing to do with immigration. It has everything to do with being good citizens and good lawmakers and good public servants who actually just give a darn about people. Thank you.
Thank you. I now recognize myself. I think what it has to do, to answer your question, is incentives. I think people are logical, and people do things that they believe is in their best interest, and we incentivize people and we incentivize their behaviors. So that's what it has to do with immigration. When we incentivize certain behavior, people respond in a logical fashion. But with that said, Dr. Bonds, in 2012, the Obama administration created the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program via agency memorandum without any authorization from Congress. But notably, the Obama administration was careful to clarify that DACA recipients would not be eligible for participation in federal health care benefits such as Medicaid, CHIP, and Obamacare. And again, what I want to point out is—
All right, let's talk about what we just witnessed. First of all, Representative Luna came in hot, throwing around every conservative, fear-mongering talking point you can imagine. Illegal immigrants, birth tourism, China and Russia, like some kind of right-wing buzzword bingo game. But here's the kicker. When she actually asked the expert witness about these wild accusations, the witness had no idea what she was talking about. That's because, embrace yourselves, it's not real. There's no epidemic of pregnant Russian and Chinese women sneaking into America to have little spies. This is QAnon-level fear fantasy. Breitbart, a website so toxic that it's been called misogynistic, xenophobic, and racist by basically every serious journalist out there. Imagine basing national policy on conspiracy blogs. This is the modern GOP. But don't worry, Jasmine Crockett was ready. She calmly, factually dismantled the nonsense. She pointed out that DACA recipients, dreamers, are lawfully present. Let's say it again for the people in the back. DACA recipients are not illegal immigrants. They're kids who were brought here, grew up here, and have lived their whole lives here. Many know no other country but the United States. And another thing, DACA recipients can't vote. This Republican talking point that Democrats are trying to flood the voting booths with illegals is nothing but a lie designed to scare people. Now here's where it really hits home. Crockett pointed out the GOP's disgusting hypocrisy. They want to force women to carry pregnancies to term, no matter the danger, no matter the circumstance. But then they fight against those same women having access to basic health care. They care about life until the child is born. After that, you're on your own. And it's not just cruel, it's deadly. The United States has the highest maternal mortality rate among developed countries. And it's even worse for women of color. Access to health care isn't just a nice to have. It's a matter of life and death. Crockett also smashed the border argument to pieces. The proposed rule about healthcare access for DACA kids and pregnant women has nothing to do with the border. Nothing. But Republicans can't talk about real policy because they have none, so they keep shouting border crisis like it's a magic spell. You know what's patriotic? Fighting for all Americans to have healthcare. Fighting for truth. Fighting against fear-based lies. Fighting for decency. Finale. Speaking directly to camera. Friends, this is why we fight. This is why we show up. America is better than racism. America is better than fear-mongering. America is better than using immigrants and pregnant women as political punching bags. True patriotism means standing up for the vulnerable. It means making sure every single person, no matter their skin color, no matter where they were born, has dignity, respect, and opportunity. Representative Jasmine Crockett showed us what real American leadership looks like, fearless, compassionate, and armed with the facts. Let's follow her example. Let's stand up. Let's speak out. Let's build a country we can all be proud of. If you believe in a better America, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with everyone who needs a little reminder of what real patriotism looks like. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and stay in the fight.